This video is for homework 6, which is graphing parabolas. So we're just going to do the first 4 problems. I don't want to overwhelm you with too much, but it's enough that you should be able to practice for the quizzes and tests. But it shouldn't take you super long, and I don't want you to do all of it unless you want to. You can go ahead and check your answers on the key if you want, but for getting full credit on the homework, you just have to do the first page, which is 1 through 4. So this one, we have a y squared. That means that this is going to be opening left or right. And since this number here is positive, we know that it's going to be opening to the right. And one thing I do want to include before we jump into this is we talked about parabolas when we talked about quadratics. And I know that the question came up like, oh, can you have a quadratic that goes this way? And the answer is no, because it doesn't pass the vertical line test. So we can't have a quadratic function that opens to the left and right, but that doesn't mean that we can't have parabolas that open to the left and right. Quadratic functions have a shape of a parabola and they open up or down, but we're learning about parabolas themselves. This isn't a function necessarily, because circles, ellipses, hyperbolas, none of those are functions either, because none of them pass the vertical line test. So we're not talking about functions here. We're just talking about graphing this, like these parabolas. So don't get confused. These are not quadratics. They will look like quadratics, but they're not, because quadratics can't open to the right. Okay, going back to this. It's opening to the right, and we just have y, it's kind of like y minus 0 squared equals 4 times x minus 0. So the center is just at 0, 0, or the vertex. So we have the vertex at 0, 0. That means the axis of symmetry is at y equals 0, because our parabola is going to be opening this direction. So the axis of symmetry is going to be here, because that's the line that splits it in half. Horizontal lines are y equals, vertical lines are x equals, because all of the points on this line right here, the y value is 0. So that's why it's y equals 0. Okay, now the focus, we're going to need to find the p value. So we have 4, and that's going to be equal to 4p. So all we have to do is divide by 4 on both sides, and we get p equals 1. So we're going to go 1 unit over inside of the parabola. So the focus is at 1, 0, and then the directrix is 1 unit back from the vertex. So the directrix is x equals -1, because it's a vertical line. And that's it. Okay, the next one we have x squared equals, so x squared, remember that's like quadratic, right? X squared is a quadratic, so we know this is going to be opening up or down. Right here, this is negative, so it's going to be opening down. Once again, we don't have any numbers with our x's or like in parentheses with the y, because this is like y minus 0. So this the vertex is at 0, 0. The axis of symmetry, since this is opening down, is x equals 0, because that's going to be right down the middle like this. And then we have our focus. We need to find p. So this -12 is equal to 4p. So we divide by 4, we get p equals -3. So we're going down 3 from the vertex. So this is our focus, and then we're going up 3 to find the directrix. So the focus is at 0, -3, and the directrix is at y equals 3. The next one, the vertex is not at the origin or at 0, 0, because we have x minus 2 and y plus 4. So this tells us that it's at 2, -4. That's where the vertex is. So I'm going to plot that right there. The axis of symmetry, well, before we do that, we have x squared, right? Because it's x minus 2 squared, so we know it's going to be opening up or down. This number right here is positive, so it's going to be opening up. Okay. Now, the axis of symmetry is going to be right in between here. This is the line that cuts this parabola in half. And that is x equals 2. And then to find the focus and directrix, we need p. So we have 6 equals 4p. We divide by 4. We get p equals 3/2. So we're going to go up 3/2 to find the focus, and then down 3/2. And that's going to be the line for our directrix. So the focus is at 2, and then if we go up 1.5, this is also 1.5 or 1.5. If we go up 1.5 from -4, that's going to be -2.5. And then the directrix, if we go down from -4, that would be y equals -6.5.